Welcome to today's broadcast. This is Matthias 76, and together we are Decoding the Deception. I want to begin with saying that my prayers go out to all those in California being afflicted by these horrific fires. I cannot imagine the hardship those poor people are dealing with right now. The purpose of this video is to take a look at what is going on there, what is really going on there. Unfortunately, we cannot count on the news media to accurately report on anything. We have to dig in for ourselves. I want to start digging by sharing some photos with you and analyzing what I see. There is a line in the movie The Fugitive. We're always fascinated when we find leg irons with no legs in them. That sarcastic quip at an inept prison guard made by Tommy Lee Jones' character came to mind as I looked at these pictures of the awful carnage of the wildfires raging in California. I see a forest fire that destroyed all the houses and left behind the trees. How can a fire be such an inferno as to leave nothing of these homes consumed right down to the foundations, but right next to the smoldering foundation of the houses are trees still green with foliage? And not just one or two trees, almost all of them. I don't get it. In case that was not bad enough or convincing enough, here's another. It is an apocalyptic landscape, except for many of the trees. Odd. The hits just keep on coming. Here is one more. This one farther out in the country. Let's zoom in. I see something else that's strange. Look carefully at the picture. Now, how does that work? Someone is going to have to explain it to me. Maybe I'm just a little slow, or my understanding of how massive and uncontrollable conflagrations work. You see, there are houses surrounded by carnage, and those houses are untouched. The trees there are untouched. Many of the trees next to those houses, untouched. How could it be? It's like there is a random line of death and destruction. It makes no sense. Now let me explain something. When you hear a little sarcasm slipping through, when you hear a little heat coming through my microphone to your speakers, do not think that I'm being insensitive to what these homeowners have suffered. Quite the opposite. My anger is about just what these people have been subjected to. Now let's look at the cars. Molten metal. All of the plastic is gone. The windows gone, melted away. Tires burned away. Do you know how long a tire will burn? You know how hard it is, how much heat is necessary to burn them up entirely. And look at the melted wheels running across the pavement and now cooled. The same thing here, alloy wheels melted into puddles, tires gone. This car is literally melted into the asphalt. Firemen also report that the engine blocks of many of these cars are melted down to slag. Do you see what's just mere feet away, untouched, not singed at all, green trees, an entire orchard of them. The same story here, and right above the car, a green tree. Now, these vehicles are obviously literally melted into the asphalt. What was burning in close proximity to these vehicles to generate the heat necessary to immolate them entirely? I see all these pictures and so many more that I could have included in this video. And do you know what I think? Do you know what goes through my head again and again? Wake up. Wake up. There are things going on here that do not line up with what we are being told. There are things going on here that are so bizarre that normal, God-fearing Americans have a hard time imagining it could be true. Hint, that is often why they get away with it. Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, they play a part in all of this. They are the UN's plan. Agenda 21 came first. It was 2021, and then they had to update it to Agenda 2030. They are the United Nations plan to inventory and control everything in the entire world. Everything, including you and me. I have read them both cover to cover. The scope of what they believe they are able to control and govern is staggering. They plan to control, inventory, and manage all resources, all minerals, agriculture, all wealth, population, where we live, you and me. In order to control, you have to corral. It's like animals, cattle, livestock. You have to contain them, and to make it easier to manage, you need to centralize them. It is kind of like this. Cattle, managed, controlled, monitored, cared for, their usefulness carefully and completely maximized. And it all comes down to control. They want to get us to live like this. All in one area, out of the country, a resource, the countryside, a resource that they want to manage for maximum efficiency and the greater good. They know that in order to get you to be willing to move from here to here, you have to be motivated, and they are willing to do whatever is necessary. Sorry. Even this. No, I know that sounds insane, loony, kooky. I know. And so do they. Our rational resistance to thinking that anyone in authority could do this is something that they use quite cleverly to their advantage. So once your neighborhood looks like this, and you find out that those eco-friendly zoning restrictions, they slipped past you, in part because you didn't care, because you already had your home in the countryside. Those eco-friendly zoning restrictions that are in place for the greater good of all, and especially the planet, they have made it impossible for you to rebuild your house where it once was. And that is just what is playing out. The media, controlled by only 5 corporations, all of the same mind, don't tell you about this because they don't want you to know. They're in complete agreement, concord, with Agenda 21 and 2030. You will see no evidence as regards these fires. There will be no reporting, no investigating, only regurgitating the talking points handed them by their masters until it's too late. Yeah, they're in on it, willingly. At that point, they will simply redirect you to your new home. And if you're good, if you're really good, they will allow you to pick the color of your Habitrail Eco Box where you and your family get to live. Now, we're not done presenting here today, but I just have to throw this in. Here is what you need to do. Get educated. Get educated. Go to our website, decodingthedeception.com. The link is in the description down below. On our website, we've pulled a lot of things together to make it easier for you to research and dig in. We have screened for you over 260 videos, and that list is growing all the time. And there you can go to our research tab and search and find videos about Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, experts explaining what they are, what their intention is, what the plan is that they have for you. You can learn about directed energy weapons. That's something we're still to talk about here today, but there are videos there on directed energy weapons and weather modification, because that also plays a role in what is taking place in these wildfires and in so many other things going on in our world today. Conspiracy. Something very important to understand about conspiracies. Conspiracies are evil acts done with evil intentions by a cabal that wishes to remain unknown and therefore unaccountable. The theory part comes into play because the victims are left in the dark and have to investigate and dig and research to find out what's really happening. And do not forget, they use the term conspiracy theory quite purposefully as an insult to keep you from digging and to keep us acting like, well, sheep. Back to the story of the day. I do not know what did this, nor do I know what did this. I do know that it was not a usual forest fire or wildfire. Normal wildfires do not melt cars into slag heaps or incinerate one house and leave the trees around it, but not touch another home right next to it. Normal wildfires do not do that. But this will. It is a directed energy weapon. And so will this. This is a directed energy drone. This is a picture of a land-based directed energy weapon. It can be mounted on the back of a Humvee. And this is page 1 of the 42-page PDF that is all about its patent and how it works. Link to this document will be in the description of the video below. Now, it's not a secret that we have these weapons. Neither are Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 a secret, but what they're really doing with them is murky at best. Now, I know that I'm being lied to about this, just like they lied to me about Harvey and Michael and the power they have and have had to direct them, to fuel them, to steer them, and if they wish, to dissipate them. Now, I also know that whoever holds these offices and the people who were their predecessors, those who were in office before them, they have never had any qualms about lying to us. And if you're just waking up, I remember the feeling. I was angry. I was sick. I was hurt. And I was also curious. Dig in. Research. Use the resources we have pulled together for you at our website, decodingthedeception.com. Research for yourself, and don't just trust me because I sound trustworthy and I do Bible study videos. So, piecing together what we do have and trying to make sense out of it. Decent people trusting people, the two tend to go together, they are left scratching their heads. Why? It is important to note that good people are always mystified by evil. The forces of evil know that and have been taking advantage of it for millennia. So, to the reasons for all this, as this Christian mind tries to make sense out of it. Number one, they're doing what they're doing for power and control. They think they are smarter than you, better than you, and therefore they deserve to rule over you. You, after all, we, after all, are sheep, and they are the wolves. Wolves do not cohabitate with sheep. They are not equals with sheep. They dominate and consume the sheep. And remember, when they talk about the greater good, what they are really saying is that their good is greater, more important than yours. Number two, they are the personification of what we read about in Revelation 11:18. And I will just say here, if you go to my YouTube channel, I'm also doing a Bible deep dive program where we're working through the book of Revelation. There's a playlist, and you can start from the beginning. But they are the personification of what we read about here in Revelation 11:18. The nations were angry, and your wrath has come. The time has come for judging the dead and for rewarding your servants, the prophets, and your saints, and those who reverence your name, both small and great, and for destroying those who destroy the earth. How fascinating that in talking about God meting out his justice in the end, one of the things that is on his list is destroying those who destroy the earth. Evil hates God's creation. It hates it because God made it. They want to inflict harm and destruction. They get drunk on the power. They are the living personification of the beast from the sea that represents secular government. Does that beast look like it cares at all who gets hurt as it works its will? Not in the least. Remember, it does not have to make any sense. It is evil. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happening, you know that it is near, right at the door. The it that is at the door is the last day. So it should not come as any surprise that such treachery, such deception is afoot. Jesus himself warned us. Join us in heeding that warning. Join us in decoding the deception. That concludes our broadcast for today. We invite you to visit our webpage. We don't want to let the social media technocrats keep us apart. YouTube can shut us down at any time. We have a plan to keep in touch. We need your email address to make that work. And we promise we will not email you for any other purpose. In order to make this broadcast work, we need your support. You can go to our support page on our website, or you can use the links below to either Patreon or PayPal. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give us a like, and if you like it, please consider sharing this video with someone else. We would love it if you would subscribe, and if you subscribe, make sure and click that bell so that you're notified when we put out new videos. We love to hear from you, so down below in the comments section, let us know what you think. This is Matthias 76. Together, We are decoding the deception. God bless and have a great day.